ladies and gentlemen, this is Hollywood Matt Connolly with the double biceps. It is in the contract a legal requirement every single time we appear on camera. This is the Daily Combat Podcast. Welcome to you, the co-host, co-founder, co-breather of air, co-wearer of clothes. In this very room, it is, in fact, the master of disaster, the king of sting, Thunderlips, the ultimate male, the moustache-twirling Dave Stockbridge, winner of the Dave Stockbridge of the Year award. There it is.
It came out of nowhere.
It is. It's ready to go. And it is, in fact, Dave Stockbridge. Stockbridge, welcome to your own show, sir.
Oh, well, thank you very much for that very, very warm welcome today, Hollywood Matt Connolly. As always, an enormous amount of effort put into the introductions, and I appreciate it. I know most people are probably tuned out already, but I, on the other hand, I'll rewatch that intro time and time again. It's good for the views.
He mixed it up.
If you see 37 views on the video, it's me just watching that. Of course. So we are joined by Rich Warner. Rich Warner is now a regular on the podcast, always bringing you news in the world of MMA, both here and abroad, and now our go-to guy when it comes to all things PFL. I think is what we're talking about. You're now the expert, especially around the rule set and the points.
Not only a jiu-jitsu expert, but a PFL
expert
now.
You guys suck. You really do. You're just pushing me out in areas where I'm totally crap. But yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Awesome to be back again. But you know, probably I should change that. And instead of me being the PFL expert, we do have somebody who's pretty much going to be the PFL expert from here.
Well, we certainly do.
Insider knowledge, maybe.
Yeah. And that man today, ladies and gentlemen, is AAA Shane Mitchell.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast, Shane.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me here.
Well, Shane, it's an absolute pleasure, and amazing news just over the last few weeks, and it must be really exciting for you. It's been a long time coming, and as a fan of yours, as we all are, we've all been yearning for this moment to see you step on that international stage. How do you feel now that you've got that news?
Yeah, stoked. Like you said, it's been a long time. I've been chasing this for a long time, so to finally actually get the shot, yeah, it's amazing.
Very long time.
It's just changed my life. I've probably found out a couple of months ago, life has changed massively since, and we haven't even had the first fight yet. The life's changed heaps, yeah.
And there was a bit of a gap between you receiving the news and it becoming public and you being able to share it with the world. How was that? Because you've got the biggest news of your career and you can't tell anyone.
Yeah. It didn't actually seem like real true until it was announced. Yeah, so I knew. And I was like, oh yeah, sweet, cool, like, that's awesome. But once it started getting announced, and I was like, all right, this is really happening now.
Are you starting to think, maybe they won't announce it? Maybe this is all a dream.
It's a trick. It's an elaborate. It's a Rich
just trying to make you train harder, basically. Yeah,
it's getting to the point because it took a while. I was like, it got to the point where I was asking, like, when can we announce it? Like, yeah, like we just holding, like the fight was getting closer and closer, and we're like, yeah, we got to announce it soon. And finally, they did.
And what was the reason for it to keep it quiet? Was it because there was still some people to sign on the other end?
I believe so.
Out? Yeah.
Just
was it because if the opponents knew that there was every chance they weren't going to sign anybody up to fight you? Is that probably the case?
That's fine.
Not silly.
I think a lot of it is just making sure those different opponents, like all their visas and stuff like that, they're ready to go. They didn't want to announce things and changing. They want to make sure things are locked in, then they're ready to go. But if you look at their page PFL, how much they got on the go, all the different weight categories, the Challenger Series,
it's
and
crazy.
Season,
it's hard to keep up with and get your head around it. Like,
they got a lot. They got a lot happening. Yeah.
And how are you adjusting to the point system and how it is that you get to goal? Because it's not necessarily straightforward like people might understand the UFC. It is a little bit more convoluted, and it is a point system. So if you get a knockout in round one, that's more points to you, for instance, and those points accumulate to get yourself into that position.
Like a ranking, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how does that factor in with your game plan at this stage, or that's something you think about as you get closer?
I think that works in my favour. All my fights, usually other than one, other than one.
Only ever one decision.
Yeah, they've all been finishes. So, if you're getting more points for finishes, I think that's my favourite day.
From what I understand, if somebody steps in the cage with you, they're almost the 70% chance of being knocked out in the first round, something like that.
Well, that's his finishing rate.
And the other 30% is submission.
Yeah. Well, I got a high finishing rate, so when I heard that, I was like, that's great.
Yeah.
And I also do like the fact of you got the two fight, like the point system. So say if the unfortunate does happen, you get caught on that first fight, you still have that second fight. Hopefully get that first round KO, first round finish.
And you can progress on.
Yeah, you might possibly go through,
So how do you chart out a course to victory then? Or is it just too hard to work out at this stage and just train and work that out.
You win the fights.
Just win all the fights, knock them all out.
Pretty much.
Line them up. Line them up. I'll knock them down.
Yeah. So your first two fights, they're more your point scoring fights. That's going to get you through to the finals. As soon as it's finals, then it's now knockout.
Right.
So those first two fights, you want to be going in. You want to be trying to get the finishes. You don't want to go in with a game plan to get the decisions because even if you win, there's probably some other boys out there getting the finishes. Yeah, you might lose. You might win both fights, but you still don't get the shot.
Right.
That's the thing. You can win both fights by decision, and then a guy lose one, win one by even a second round.
But he was more exciting.
Even a second round finish, he'll get through before you.
Is it 3 5-minute rounds?
Yeah.
Right, and then in the final, is it still? Oh, it's
It'll be
5
5-5s. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
still
great.
because it is a title fight.
Yeah, nice.
So it is for Australia.
What do you think
world
of
title.
What do you think of the old school system from last year with PFL? How you had to fight twice on one night, and then the first fight was a 2-rounder.
Yeah, God, that's. Well, I've done the 2 fights in one night. It's not as bad as you think. I remember when I did it, I was dreading it a little bit. I thought, man, it's pretty wild. Like, but
Who did you fight twice in one night?
Same
Can you
guy.
remember?
Knocked him out twice.
That would have been.
I actually did knock them both out. I remember there's.
Was it?
Can you read through the names?
Yeah,
Or
okay.
no?
So here's his record, ladies and gentlemen: 13-4, South Australian absolute champion. 8 KOs, 4 subs, gone to only 1 decision. So super exciting fighter.
Was it Charles August?
No, shut up. I always mention Charles August. I'm like,
He was trying to remember his name last
we'll
week.
run through really quickly your record so far for people who weren't around back in the old school days, because this young man over here has been fighting for 2013, before it was even legal over here in South Australia. So Andrew Douglas, KO win, round 1. After his first fight, he thought it'd be a good idea to fight the man Charles August, 3-time world champion from Rikers Gym there. Crazy decision to go in there, and we've talked about this as well. But you had I've spoken to Ike as well. You really had a very good game plan against Charles August to go into that fight, didn't you?
Of course, I think anyone going against Charles is going to try and take him down, aren't they?
And from what I understand, also there was some negotiation with the round lengths in that scenario.
Yeah, because I took it on late notice as well. I took it on about 2 weeks' notice.
Yeah.
So it was only 3-minute rounds.
So you're taking on
Who
one of the
does that?
greats in their second fight. One of the greats.
Yeah.
Did you have any
world
understanding
champion.
of the? Yeah. And did you have any understanding around the gravitas of that
No,
fight?
I don't. No, back then, no, because that's what I say to a lot of people now. When you're that new to the sport, you don't understand the levels.
Yeah.
When about 5 weeks out of that fight, I was in Thailand for like 2 weeks partying.
Right,
And I literally got back.
It's a good camp.
He's like Johnny Bones
I didn't
Jones
really-
over
yeah,
there.
no,
Yes.
I honestly did not have much of a camp. Then took it on about 2 or 3 weeks notice. I took the fight, but you don't understand the levels to it. Like, I think I didn't really.
Did you cop any leg kicks off Charles?
No, I don't think. Can't even remember if he tried to kick me or not.
Far out, man.
From what I understand, from what Ike was explaining to me, your coach there at CardioFlex, there was some last minute negotiations. It's all pretty quick, and it popped up. Oh, should we do shorter length rounds?
Yeah.
And okay, we'll do that. And he said, I will never ever do that again.
Yeah, I think if I had that long, that 5-minute rounds, I might have had that.
Yeah, and that seems to be the honest belief from your coach as well. Like
Wow.
if we'd gone even in your second fight, coming up against somebody of that caliber, that you were every chance of winning.
Yeah.
Just if you had the time to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing when you're looking at a 13-4, some of these losses you almost write them off. They're like, that was crazy. Second fight against the 3-time world champion.
Well, This goes back to what I was saying. The levels, like when I was that early in my career, you don't understand the levels. I was just taking on guys.
you're just an animal, bro.
Like
crazy.
fighting Charles on paper it should have never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, if someone from
Somebody
the
should have
outside-
stepped in.
Someone from the outside seen those records, they would be like, "How is this even a thing?"
Yeah. And did you feel, even though you walked away with an L on that occasion, you walked away with a bigger reputation as a result?
Oh, he did well.
Yeah,
The
Respect.
decision loss, is it?
yeah. I like the
No,
way.
KO.
No, he dropped me in the second round. In the second round, he dropped me. Like he was. I remember getting dropped. I remember just standing there. All of a sudden, I'm on my side.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I was just like, whoa, I'm on my side. And
So you didn't see it coming, of course. It's the ones you don't see.
No, because you're just in the middle of it all, and then just that split second. Obviously, because you're out for probably a second or two.
Dude.
I remember, and you don't obviously remember being out. You just remember being up straight, and then I'm like, oh, I'm on the ground.
How did I get here?
And I quickly tried to get up to my feet, but the ref's already called it. And then I remember even being like, come on, like,
really?
Like, but then I went back and looked at the footage and like, all right, yeah, like he was coming in, like he was about to just absolutely annihilate me. Like,
Thank you to the ref for stopping that one.
Yeah,
And-
after I seen the video, I was like, yeah, good stuff.
Well, I'm glad he did stop it, because then you've gone on from there. You fought Richie Blake and you KO'd him in round 1, I believe. I think it was a verbal stoppage.
Yeah, it was with
there.
a takedown. Yeah.
Right. So Richie Blake, who's runs his own gym now in South Australia, has been a South Australian mainstay, a fighter, and been around the traps.
What, you verbally submitted after a takedown?
Yeah, so I think I'm not 100% sure what it was, but from what I heard, it was like he fractured a vertebrae.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was somewhere along the lines of that. Yeah.
So it was spinal.
yes.
It's the Mike Tyson.
So then, after beating Richie, technically it's a KO win, really. Then you fought Brad Murphy, got a round 1 or 2 KO in that one.
Yeah.
Dave Billett, you got him by at this point it was your first ever submission, the armbar.
Yeah.
Was that belly down armbar, or was it?
No, that was from full mount. That's where I didn't drop him. I remember I rocked him, took him down, heard the clappers go, 10 seconds.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah, just ripped this. Like, all right, I gotta finish this. If I want to finish, got to finish this quick.
Because at that stage, you loved your ground and pound being on top, but in terms of submissions, you'd never got one before.
Yeah, I'd never be saying I'm going to go in and sub this guy.
Right. It was just there, and you thought this is the opportunity. 10 seconds to go, and he tapped.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this much: like before he was great at jiu-jitsu, geez, he was. Sometimes strength can be almost just as good as technique in some ways. I mean, that's probably a very arguable point. Technique's always going to win, but always super strong on the ground as well.
Of course, yeah. I mean, that's what you hear a lot of people say, that technique's everything. It's not. Like you do need that athleticism.
Smash.
Yeah, you need strength and technique together is. Yeah, that's what you want.
Do you remember the time in the gym I tried to teach you rubber guard, and I'm talking up rubber guard, and I'm like, see if you can get out of this, Shane, and just postures out of it. I'm like, oh, okay, that was pretty good.
Technique's number 1, but strength, you need it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, that was his first ever submission win against Dave.
And at this stage,
Phillip.
is it all in the same weight category or weight division?
No, these are all middleweight.
It's all middleweight.
These are all
at this
middleweight
stage.
fights. So I started off in middleweight, my first probably 10 or 11 fights. So
Yeah.
Real
maybe
middleweight.
more, maybe even like 12. My first 12 were middleweight, and then I went down to welter.
Yeah.
And you previously mentioned that as a middleweight, you felt like you were a smaller middleweight. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, like at the start.
Even though you were winning, you're having a good success.
Well, at the start, it didn't seem that way, because I think when you're fighting those guys who have had only maybe like 1 to 10 fights or so, they're not doing the drastic weight cuts. So there didn't feel like, it sort of felt like my weight division, but it wasn't until I was coming across the more professional guys who were doing the proper weight cuts, and I was like, all right, I'm in the wrong weight division.
His next fight was against a very big boy in, I think he's a Samoan, Maui Tuigulama.
Yeah.
And he was a massive big Islander boy.
Islander boy from Queensland, yeah. He's just like I said, same, just grappled, just grabbed hold of me.
Yeah.
Took me down.
Yeah. And he really focused on, probably at that point, was the only maybe slight weakness in your game, which was that ground grappling game.
Yeah, correct.
You were used to being on top, and unfortunately at that point he got on top, turned you around and got the rear naked choke.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so he's got one sub win, and that was his first ever sub loss. Then you fought Jake Brunswick.
These are the 2 in 1 night. So Jake was the first one.
Okay, so one night. And what state was this in?
Was that the format of the
it's just an
tournament?
eliminator, yeah, 4-man eliminator. So yeah.
This is where you make your bones in doing stuff like that, isn't it?
You don't hear of them much anymore.
Well, all the Kiwi boys like Adesanya and all of that, they do that.
Yeah, they're an 8-man.
8-man tournament.
3 fights 1 night. Yeah.
So and I think they do that as like the stepping stone to really prove themselves in the gym, and then from there they like, okay, it's UFC kind of time.
Yeah.
So big night. So you fought Jake Brunswick, and then it was Kane Toby, who you KO'd both of them on the one night.
At the same time.
Both round 1 finishes on that?
No, I think Kane was a round 1, but in the final, but the first one was second round.
Okay.
Right at the start of the second round.
Okay. After Kane Toby, you fought who is now Australia's number 1 welterweight, has been for quite some time, Kit Campbell.
Yeah.
A lot of talk. Yeah, he's an absolute beast. Yeah. And I rewatched this fight against Kit Campbell. Mate, I just... All I can say about that is if you fought him now, even though he's middle, not welter.
Well, I think he has dropped down and done some middle. He's floating in between
A little bit.
welter and middle, yeah.
But I can't see you losing.
Yeah, it'd be a very different fight. Same, like I said, you look at the fight, just taking me down over and over again. His judo, his inside trips just kept giving me with that judo. So I believe he had the judo black belt.
The ground is where he won that fight.
Just kept me on the ground again. I remember he was just in my guard most of the time as well. Just couldn't get up.
But even though he won the fight, geez, it was a fantastic fight to watch. Went all the distance, all the way to the end, and that's your decision loss there. And it was back in 2015. Kit Campbell. If you haven't heard him, check out who he is, because he is probably knocking on the door for UFC.
I was about to say that he's another one who should be on a world stage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not South Australian, but an Australian champion in Kit Campbell. Then you fought Jeff King, got the knockout straight away on that one. Came home to DFC and fought Matt Eland. This is an interesting fight against Matt.
Yeah, so
Lovely guy.
This is the big step up between Jeff and Matt. Because I think that's when I actually went away between the Jeff fight and the Matt fight. Is when I went away to America for about 4 months.
Oh, yes.
Did my big trip.
Yes.
I believe I probably had a good year off of fighting there.
What was the gym you trained at when
American
you were
Top Team.
ATT?
Yeah, I was American Top Team Florida. That there I found after the Matt fight is where things started all coming together.
And this is all, probably the beginning of the process of trying to knock on that door of the UFC. I'm going to go to America. I'm going to train with AT&T. I'm going to make these massive connections and show what I'm worth. And you gained amazing amounts of experience and confidence, I'd have thought, out of that.
Yeah, it was great going over there. You wouldn't actually say you learn a hell of a lot. You do definitely learn some things, but biggest thing about going over there is you learn where you stand, on the global level. Now, when I went over there, it was great. What I brought back from that was our striking here is amazing. Like it's Australian striking is very, very high level.
Yes.
Where they get you, they're wrestling. So
Who was that? Who was the guy in that camp in that club who? He's a UFC star, and I think you got invited to do some sparring with him. And I remember you came back with a bit of a twinkle in your eye, going, "Rich, I got him."
Yeah, I sparred quite a few boys. Like me and Poirier.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dustin the Diamond Poirier.
Yeah, we scrapped a bit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So to get the better of Dustin Poirier,
look, I wouldn't say I got that.
Just in case he happens to tune into the Daily Combat podcast.
Rich putting words in Shane's mouth there.
No, for real. He's going to be real humble now. But Shane is an amazing, top class striker, world level, top level striker, and he wouldn't have said he wasn't talking shit. He did get the better of.
No, he's had some good exchanges on the feet. Yeah, but then he started taking me down. We had some good exchanges on the feet with Dustin, but mind you, I was the bigger guy. We actually got quite into it.
I heard you made him a little bit angry during your sparring session, mate.
Yeah,
Is that right? Yeah. He's got a bit of a temper. Dustin Diamond Poirier got a bit of a temper.
Yeah, I actually did.
You embarrassed him a bit.
Afterwards, real good. He said I tagged him a bit too hard in a couple of them. It's probably just nerves though. I probably did tag him a bit too hard, but I'm probably I'm in front of Dustin Poirier. I was probably just a bit nervous and just
yeah.
Was he doing well in the UFC at that time? Was that?
This was just after his first McGregor fight,
right.
So he still had the name. He still definitely everyone knew who he was, but he wasn't what he is now.
Yeah,
like that. Like obviously now he's.
Oh, he was massive, dude.
He's a killer. But
he was still very.
Yeah, but like now he's huge.
It was before he beat Conor.
Right. Yes.
This was just after his first fight with Conor, where Conor knocked him out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you gave him some pointers, and then he came back and beat Conor. Yeah, right. So you came back to Australia.
Do you know it was actually a lovely dude over there? That's Colby Covington. I actually did some sparring on Colby Covington as well.
Really?
Lovely dude.
Yeah,
really?
I've heard that all of his antics are all an act.
Oh yeah.
He's definitely out of all the guys that sparred there who were like. You could say like in the UFC and the world sort of stage, Colby Covington was the nicest and most compliments, help you out and stuff like that. Colby and big Junior Dos Santos.
Oh, that's right. JDS was in your camp.
JDS was a great guy. Obviously, he's massive, so I never actually trained with him. But like Colby, did a few sparring sessions with Colby. Yeah, got nothing but good things to say about
His
him.
title fight with Kamaru Usman was one of
Yeah.
the best fights ever. Where they both were they were landing on each other non-stop, and it stopped in the 5th round. I was going for Colby, so it was like, oh no, to see him go down in the 5th with like a minute left or something.
People have got it wrong. Like that's all an act he's putting on. Like in person,
Yes.
like said out of all of them there, he's the nicest guy.
Can you do that act?
I don't think I could actually. Like, that's an effort. How about certainly to get?
I'd love to see you be an asshole.
Try and get all of South America to want to kill me. That's commitment. What he's done is actually commitment.
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. I'll give you some lines, just some asshole lines that you can say when you go over there.
I don't
you
want
know.
a whole continent hating me.
Yeah, some like anti-Mexican lines. You know. So you came back and you fought a Queenslander in Matt Eland. Matt Eland had a little bit of a shoulder issue, I think,
Yeah, we had
pre-fight,
tape,
and he had the tape, and we saw that, and but he, with a lot of heart, committed to the fight and didn't let us down. It was a great fight, but you ended up knocking him out with that beautiful left hook.
Yeah.
Your left hook, bro. How many knockouts out of all of your knockouts that you've done are from that left hook?
No, I actually think there's only a couple there. It's more the straight right I get with people with.
Yeah.
But the left hook sets up a lot.
Dude,
Yeah.
it comes not for, you don't do a big wide swing left hook. It comes
No,
at
it's
like
not.
a little
It's
chicken
like a
wing
whip.
bang.
Yeah, it's like I throw it in fast. Yeah.
And the power he gets out of from this is the thing I've always noticed about Shane. From a very short distance, he can generate power like you've not seen before.
Yeah, the short right's usually where all my like stopping power is.
Is that a genetic thing, or is that a technique that you?
I honestly think it's genetic because I've seemed to always been able to just develop good power from a short distance.
Right. Yeah.
Love to Trent and Kim back home. It's all you're
Yeah,
doing.
I think so. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like, yeah, can't really say.
Is that a
I've just always-
natural, like, as soon as you started learning striking, that you just felt comfortable with those smaller movements as opposed to wide looping?
Well, honestly, I think it's just like I always talk about this as well. It's just the composure of certainly when you're my sort of weight. If you're like welterweight up, some even lightweight, you don't need to wind up your punches to KO someone. You really don't. Certainly, got a 4-ounce glove on. You don't need this big. Everyone thinks they need this big powered up punch. No, you don't. I've learned that you just need to be on the money, and usually just like quick, sharp, solid, and you'll put them down.
Nice. It's worked for you.
Easier said than done, I reckon.
But yeah, I think
All you got to
it's
do is
easy.
hit them and knock them out. There you go, kids.
I think I've been blessed. So I've got actually decent, just like fast twitch. So I can just sort of burst my punches and kicks.
Yeah,
quite
you're a bit
well.
weirdo for a white guy.
Yeah,
You fought some really good black guys too. Next one was Brandon Rapati.
yeah, that was the decision. Jesus.
This is his only decision ever.
Yeah, I think
What
it was about 8-1 at the time. I think he was a New Zealand champion. He's just tough, man. Like I remember hitting him with a few shots. I could even see his eyes were very glazy, like got him rocked. But those Islander boys,
They're tough.
They're hard to put down. Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you saw the weigh-ins, you're thinking, geez, this is going to be a tough matchup. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Yeah, he was
you know,
jacked.
He was jacked as.
This is still middleweight, or have you gone down to welterweight here?
This is
No,
all
it's
still
still
middle.
Still
Still
middleweight.
middle.
I remember because I thought I like felt and looked great at that weigh in. I remember when he took his shirt off, you just hear people going, "Oh my
Holy
God."
shit.
Yeah, like, you'd hear people in the crowd going, like, "Oh Jesus."
Yeah, that's the thing. You've got a coach who doesn't set up easy fights for you.
Now look at all our boys certainly now coming through the amateurs, man. They're like they're having some tough fights, that's for sure. So yeah, he's always put up giving us a test, that's for sure.
And from what I understand, that's how you got the nickname as well.
Yeah,
play
it is.
nickname.
It is, and sometimes I even say like. Sometimes it goes. I feel like it goes a bit too far with him. Like sometimes he gives sometimes he gives them matchups to some of my guys. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. You're fighting Junior Dos Santos.
Well, speaking of crazy matchups, the next guy you fought was talking about big black guys was Jason Radcliffe,
Yeah,
come all the way, from England.
Big unit, wasn't he? Yeah.
Big KO, technician he was.
He was on
and that
Cage
fight.
Warriors, wasn't he? Bellator and Cage Warriors.
That's right. Yeah, that fight was a back and forth striking match. And remember, he tried. Was it the knee? He got you really good with a knee.
Yeah, he split me. He split me with a knee. Yeah.
And he thought. I reckon Radcliffe thought that. Oh, it's done. I've got him.
Yeah.
And he used it to his advantage, thinking, oh, you think you've got me. And then Shane just turned the tables and just went a massive flurry. I think it was a hook cross or something like that.
Well, yeah, I remember when the clinch, as we're exiting the clinch, he just pulled my head down nicely, kneed me straight in the head.
Yeah.
Split me open, but then, I don't know, I just had a switch.
You got angry, didn't you?
Yeah, but I was trying to, I remember he was trying to smother me the whole fight, and I was trying to create space.
Yeah.
He kneed me, and then he sort of broke off a bit, and then I just went for him.
You got him clean.
Yeah, well, originally I went for a kick, and I think he went to
That's
shoot.
right.
I went to shoot, and he shot into my kick.
Yes. Not good.
Yeah, and then just followed through. Like, with the kick landed, he pretty much headbutted my knee. Then followed through, finished the fight. Yeah.
And
That was over and done with. He kneed me in the head, split me open, and I finished him in about 10 seconds.
Yes.
So,
Wow.
Yes. KO win. And you see the size of this guy. Look him up, guys. Jason Radcliffe.
yeah, that was another one where what I do love seeing is the voting system on Tapology. I think that was another one where it was like 0%,
no chance.
0% thought I was going to win, 100% thought Jason was going to win.
Yeah.
Oh, he could have made some money on that one.
And even people after coming up to me and saying, like, just looking at us and at the physical side of us, they said, I didn't think you stood a chance.
No. No, I was worried.
Yeah.
Just by looking at
So
the opponent.
everyone was saying that.
Yeah, again, another massive guy. And when we say massive, we're like talking super, super, super duper massive. You fought Rick Alchin.
Yeah.
He's now fighting in 1FC.
No, what? He's gone quiet. I'm not sure what's happening with him.
He beat Edward Foluyang, one of the best 1FC fighters of all time, and then he lost his last one.
I don't think he's fought since. I think he's gone now.
That's right, yeah. I think it was maybe about 2 years ago was his last fight. He hasn't been around for a little while. Rick Alchin, now I said last week on the podcast, I think he probably used a few needles to get there because he was bloody bulked up like you've never. He was like a balloon animal.
Like Paul Harris sort of
thing. Yeah, like Paul Harris, but bigger in every way. No joke. He was also a strongman.
Yeah, he was like I don't know if it was a state or an Australian champion powerlifter with a jiu-jitsu black belt.
Yeah.
This is middleweight? He made it down to middleweight?
Yeah.
Wow.
I spoke to him after. He walks around about 110. He was
God.
Yeah.
He dropped to 84. That's ridiculous.
Something like he put on like 14 kilo after the weigh-in. He was big.
Massive.
Wow.
And all he wanted to do was strangle you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't want to punch on. Shane would be like, okay, doing the movement, and he would just come up and go, just.
Oh, I was like punching a brick wall as well. Like, he's just walking through everything, just trying to grab hold of me.
And this changed everything for you, this fight, didn't it?
Yeah, this is what made me go down to welter.
I remember seeing you in the rooms after. It's always that hot shower you have, and you use the hot shower like a lot of fighters do to calm down and to get the release of the emotions. And I think it all comes out in that shower, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Were you standing there watching, Rich?
I was actually.
No, the one where I was wrecked, that was. I remember the one. That was the
I
Rapati.
helped him to the shower.
That was
So tell me about you.
that was the Rapati fight where I think you guys actually carried you and my dad carried me to the shower.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that was devastating.
Yeah, I was wrecked. I was wrecked.
Oh yeah, almost crying for him.
I remember sitting on the floor of a shower with a bag of lollies, just trying to.
That's right.
Just trying to get my energy back.
Yeah, he was absolutely gone in every, not just mentally, physically, but mostly emotionally.
How did the fight end up?
I won that one by decision.
You
That's
won
my
it?
decision fight against the Islander boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I won
Amazing.
that one, but I just depleted everything. Like I was just vomiting everywhere. I could barely even stand. They carried me into the shower, and like I said, I was just sitting on the floor of the shower,
Wow.
just eating lollies, just trying to get my energy back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Just left
that's
it all out
insane.
there.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, I was worried about him. Like, dude, this is like,
Yeah, I was struggling.
Jesus.
okay. Everybody else was like, let's have beers. I was like, fucking hell.
I was in like the fetal position.
Yeah.
Just twitching.
And this is the thing. This is why we have crazy respect, because you see the backstory. You see what actually happens and what people give. Like, man,
Yeah, a lot of
talk
people
about
don't see this.
giving
Yeah.
your blood, giving your life, giving your soul, The man hasn't, he's still a virgin, ladies. So, he's given all of that away as well. So, that's not quite true, is it, Shane?
That's true.
It's true. A massive fight against Rick Alchin, which changed everything. It was from that decision. I remember in the backstage, as soon as you came out of that, you're like, I'm never, ever, ever fighting in this division again.
I think in the cage, when I did my speech, I actually said straight away, like, I'm going down to welter.
Yep.
Like, straight after that fight. Like,
What was your weight cutting process before this point?
it wasn't really like I was probably trained when I sort of trained hard. I'd get down to like 86 kilo, a lot of time I might need to do the tiniest bit of water weight, tiniest bit. I was not cutting water.
Yeah. So basically, you're a pretty healthy guy. You live and eat pretty healthy, but basically you're fighting around at walking weight, basically, whatever you could cut on a couple of hours before. And so then you learned, obviously, how to cut weight from that point. You had to change everything, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you get a coach in, a nutrition coach or anything like that?
I just seeked out, like nutrition advice, just for help with certainly going down to welter. I wanted to bump down. I needed to lose a few more kilos, but I wanted to keep the size. So, I went out and got some help with that. But the actual water weight cutting, Matt Jones, my coach at ISO Health, he helped me. He was very familiar with that. He's the one who helped me a lot with that. And
was it at that point, at that fight, at the end of that fight, that you went under Matt Jones as well?
Yeah, actually, no, just before.
Oh, okay.
Just before.
Only a month or two,
Yeah, like that was my first fight with under Matt Jones. It might have been at ISO Health only a few months.
Right.
That,
So what made you go with Matt at ISO Health? Because your main coach is Ike at Cardioflex, is that right?
Yeah, that used to be. Now it's very 50-50. I'm at both gyms, 50-50.
Yeah. So what was the spark for that?
Well, we knew Matt just from the fight game. Always seen him in change rooms. Me and Matt we had lovely exchanges before we even knew each other.
Yeah.
It got to the point where Matt actually just said to me that he'd love to do a bit of work with me one day. He said he could definitely tidy up some of my game just from watching my fights. Yeah, it got to the point where Ike even said, think it's a good idea. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And it just happened. Then one day we just said, like, all right, let's do it. Went out there, started training with them, because back then that's when like Dan Curry and Doc were very active in the fight game. Started training a lot with them. First session straight away, I was like,
really?
This is another level. Definitely another level of the grappling there.
Yeah.
Did Matt do a lot of one-on-ones with you at that point as well?
No, we weren't doing a mass amount of one-on-ones, but definitely doing quite a few sessions. Say it would be like Brad, myself, someone else with just Matt, on like a.
Oh, okay.
Like it'd be maybe five or six of us, sort of doing a bit of an open mat rolling day, and Matt would join in and then do a bit of Q&A after.
Has he become like a fatherly role to you as well?
Doyen.
Yeah, Matt.
A doyen.
Matt.
Do you know what that means? I don't.
No.
We love Matt Jones.
Yeah, we always say like Brad and myself and all the other some of the other guys Friday at the gym. We've always said that Matt's the type of guy where if you're just on a cliff and he's just like, jump off, trust me, you'll be all right.
You do it.
Like you'd be like, I don't want to do it, but because Matt's saying it, like it must be the right thing to do.
What about if Ike said it? Would you do it?
Hesitation.
It sounds like he has it on a couple of occasions.
You got two coaches.
Ike's a bit wild about Ike's a bit more wilder than that.
Well, I reckon you would jump, because your second fight you fought Charles August when he told you to. That was pretty much jumping off a cliff.
Both the coaches said, they are like that. As in, like you said, the father figures, they do. The coaches both have that father figure where if they say something, you do it.
Yeah.
There's that discipline towards them. Like, they could say something that I don't agree with, or I don't want to do, but I'm still going to do it.
You do it anyway.
Because it's coming from them.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the respect thing you have for them.
It's interesting when you've got that coach-student almost relationship, and that fatherly figure, it's kind of emerges. It must have been hard for Ike at that point to say, you know what, you can learn something outside of this
very
gym
humble
and somewhere else. It's you're almost letting your firstborn,
your number one boy,
your number one guy,
Ike, I've known Ike even before the fighting. We started off when I was playing like footy. Like I should remember it was footy. He was my trainer out there. I was probably only 15 years old.
Really?
That's where we first met. Yeah. Yeah, so we met him out on the footy field.
And he taught you how to fight during football. He's like, smack that guy for me, Shane.
Honestly, the fitness coach is unreal. The fitness coach, what he put us through is insane. Like, he set you up for failure.
So this is why Norwood won the grand final last year, everybody.
I would not be surprised, Like, their fitness level 100% would have gone up, but 100% probably know that a few of their footy players would have dropped out because of him.
Oh, right. Did you watch the grand final last year?
No, I didn't.
Oh, dude.
Well, for those that are playing along at home who might not know about local football, Craig Ike, who is one of Shane's coaches, is also the strength and fitness coach or conditioning coach there at Nord Football Club.
The Redlegs.
Just won the last two premierships.
Yes.
Last two?
Yeah. Won the last two.
Last two. All thanks to Craig Ike as well. If you ask him, that's exactly what it is.
Didn't Craig kick the goal after the final siren in both games?
Both games, yeah. Just pulled him off the bench. Yeah.
Oh, you guys. So yeah, a very humble move of Ike to be cool with that.
Yeah, one of the best moves definitely were done for my game.
Absolutely. Well, we've seen the difference from that fight and from Matt Jones getting involved and having two coaches rather than one. Because, look, every gym has a specialty. Every gym has a flavour. And Cardio Flex's old school Cardio Flex was predominantly, based around guys like this who were strikers. Not to say that they didn't, practice wrestling and all the rest of it, but when you've got ISO Health down the road like a sister club and great relationships, and all they did at that time was predominantly was all grappling and had jiu-jitsu champions across the state. So really, really good idea, and we've seen the difference in your game.
Yeah, massively. Because he's not just jiu-jitsu as well. He's very stand-up, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, top game, pressure, crush. Even a bit of a Sambo takedown style. It's not. You won't see us pulling guard. You won't see us.
Don't tell us the secrets because we know it's a closed gym. ISO Health, they have a lot of secrets at ISO. Matt doesn't give anything away.
Yeah, he is a very private guy. But nah.
Here's his phone number, everyone.
Well, let's get on to your next fight real quickly. You're just nearly finishing them all. So next fight was probably the most exciting in terms of going all of the way, 3 rounds back and forth, both on the ground and on the feet. You didn't get the KO stoppage in the first round like you normally do. This fight was against an Australian champion in Paul Franchi. Did I say that right? Paul Franchi?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, Paul Franchi.
Yeah.
Don't look at me weird when I. Paul Franchi, great fight, really back and forward, and there's a lot of movement on the bottom, a lot of slick movement both ways between you both, but you end up getting the KO win in the end against him.
Third,
yeah,
that was probably the toughest fight I've had. Always tough. Tough. There's definitely one of my toughest fights, but that was definitely my most rounded fight, where it's probably 50-50 ground and stand-up,
Yeah, well, in terms of if you want to know who Shane Mitchell is and what he's about and the way he fights nowadays, that's the fight to watch. Because after that, you got 2 pretty quick KOs. One against Khan Sandy, coming all the way from Tasmania at HTC, training under Rob Wilkinson there. And that was absolutely beautiful, 2021.
That was a good fight, and I think just the finish there definitely doesn't give Khan the justice of how good he actually is. I feel like when I was up against him, he's probably one of the more better opponents I've versed. Just happened to catch him. Just happened to catch him straight away in that second round.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's the type of guy he would probably beat probably more than 50% of the guys I fought.
Yeah, good call. Respect Khan Sandy. And then, of course, another Tasmanian. You thought you were on a Tasmanian streak at this point, and you fought the superstar Dave Butt, who's obviously before used to be in Sydney, but I think he was training in Tasmania, HTC.
Yeah, I know he was fought out of Tassie. I'm not sure where he was before that.
Yep. Dave Butt, and you knocked him out in round. You rear naked choked him. My apologies. So you got your second ever sub in your last fight, which was the back take and the trapping of the arm, and the rear naked choke happened so quickly. It was very, very slick, mate. That's the difference, having ISO Health and Matt Jones and all of those years, the 3 or 4 or 5 years with, such a, really building on the ground game that came out in that fight.
Yeah, it's just the natural reactions you get after training for so long under someone like Matt.
Did you know you had his arm trapped with that leg as well?
No. Not instantly. It's not like in my head I'm like, I'm going to do this special move and trap his arm. I think he made a bit of an error himself of trying. I know he tried to go sort of out the back door type of way.
Well, you were high up on the back, weren't you? So that was his only escape.
Yeah, he's going to try to go that way, but
you had the neck.
A lot of the time, I had the neck, and then usually an arm ain't as strong as a leg, so you just crush it. You just end up crushing that underhook with your leg. And
you've got to be very proud of that sub. That sub was very, very slick, mate.
Yeah, no, definitely was. It's good I do love a good KO, but it's good to come away with a sub. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a tremendous record. And for probably the last third of that, a lot of people would have felt like you were knocking on the doors of great things, whether it was the UFC or something else. And that's kind of your time in the desert, where you must have been walking around in the desert just wondering, how long until there's going to be some water here? When am I going to get the call up? And was at any point any thoughts thoughts of, look, I'm just going to pull up pegs. Maybe I'm just going to become a real estate agent, for instance. I don't know.
It was getting close.
Yeah.
It was.
And what kept you going during those times?
I think
secondary career.
honestly, just the love for it. Like, I maybe even, when I have a bit of a break between fights, like now I've had a year off as well between fights. It just gets to the point where I'll have a bit of a period where I'm like, maybe this is not happening, or I need it. But at the same time, if it's not happening, I need to find something to do. I can't just be left with nothing. Start venturing off, so I got into real estate and started digging into that.
Yeah.
But then the love for it is still there. Like, certainly when all my friends are involved in the sport, I go to the shows, watch them fight, and then straight away I'm like,
It's kind of cool. when
yeah,
you're back.
exactly. Yeah, you just get dragged back in, like
the mafia a little bit. Yeah.
But it's like 10 years I've been doing it for. So it's very hard just to move on. Like, I just feel like it's what I do now.
Yeah.
Like every day, like when we go to training, you just go. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really, it's not like it's a chore. It's just part of my schedule now. It's just what I do. So,
Yeah. And so what I understand is that you've been obviously knocking on the door for a long time, and nobody was kind of answering, and then you've had a change of management so step us through what happened there.
Yeah, so I think my prior management, they are based in America. I'm not sure what was going on there. I think it was rough times because we sort of went through the COVID period, which made things very, very difficult, certainly getting visas, etc. But at the same time, I do feel like they probably had so much opportunity going on over in America, and their American athletes, they were getting, obviously, the opportunities. It's hard. I was probably quite hard work for them, being on the other side of the world on this little island with a government that's just extremely strict with visas and doesn't want any fun. They don't want any competitions here. They didn't. UFC didn't come here for a couple of years. Yeah. And the management I had in America were always saying, like, my best shot is when the UFC come to Australia or the events come to Australia. Right. They're probably not going to just fly me to the other side of the world for a debut. Yeah. Certainly because then you'll have to pay. You'd have to get your visas, etc., and all that stuff. Whereas if they debut you here, they don't need to worry about the visas and stuff. Yeah. So I think that the
They'd be dangling carrots, though, wouldn't they? They'd be like getting you excited about some opportunity that might be, and you'd be like, and then it just wouldn't eventuate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it seemed like, and it just got to a point where like, everything just seemed too good to be true. And they'd say like, oh yeah, we got this lead, we might be able to go on this show, or like your Contender Series, the Ultimate Fighter. Yeah. Or like, you got to show you, hopefully Australia come to show, you might get you on the undercard. Yeah. Like, it's like, got to a point where I'm like, yeah, that sounds awesome, but until it's locked in, it's not happening to me. Yeah. That's where it got to. Yeah, it just got to the point where I was losing a little bit of hope. Definitely was. Then, next thing, Ike was in a bit of contact with Rob Wilkinson, who's just won the PFL.
$1 million check, October.
Yeah, and then just after a bit of a conversation exchange, got hold of his manager, and they sort of gave us a good lead saying like, look, we can probably get you on the show. Dude. Yeah, and he did it. He did it very quick. So he said, yeah. And he even sort of gave us good, strong leads without even being signed to him. Huh. No, that's what I mean. Like, I wasn't even signed, and he's already helping me out. Wow. Yeah. And then that's usually very unheard of. Yeah. Yeah. And the fact, he's been awesome ever since. He got me the shot, and then now it's all go time. So
fantastic. And how quickly things have turned around in just a really, really short period of time. Yeah. And you've been keeping in shape, obviously, in the meantime. The last 12 months hasn't just been sitting on the couch.
No, I'm always training. Yeah, always been training and that. Yeah. I did have one fight locked in not too long ago, but that fell through. But yeah, so it's not like I've been away from the gym, away from the training. I've always been training.
Yeah. So this is, just to mention the name, is August Elite Management, head honcho Reese Dal Sin, who is now your manager.
Correct, yes. Yeah.
And he's the guy who has the hookups and has made it happen.
He's a good lad, yeah. He's done a lot, yeah. Like
you had you went out to a restaurant and had a nice big dinner, and
we did.
Is that where you signed the contract?
No, that was just official meet and greet. No, he's been great in in the way of he hasn't been pushy at all. No, that was all before we even signed.
That's just a handshake deal.
Yeah.
I think we can do something here.
Yeah. Well, that was been great. On the PFL one was signed. That was all done pretty quick online. But I wasn't even. But I got signed to PFL before I even signed to him.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's almost unheard of in the world of talent management. You know, they want to sign you up and then not talk to you for another 5 years. Usually, that's the method.
We obviously we had the verbal agreement. We knew it was going to happen. But yeah, like I said, he just got things done. Like I've never heard of that. As in,
you've been
doing something for you,
screwed around for a long
doing
time.
something for you without even being signed. Like it's just unheard of. So, yeah.
It's
Brilliant.
almost like you've got to meet the right person at the right time, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's definitely
Big time.
those connections, like meeting the right connections, is it's important. Certainly in this game.
And I think also, you know, for your agency, you know, they see that you've got this wonderful record, but they see that you've also been through that period of pain where most people would have probably just dropped out, just questioned themselves, just walked away from the game. It's really easy to do, and yet you hung around, and I think that speaks to your character and endeavour. So it you know, who wouldn't want to be aligned with somebody like yourself?
It's the typical saying of, when you feel like giving up is usually when you're right there.
On the cusp.
It's that typical saying, and it's exactly what's happened. Yeah, and it's just saying, like, when you feel like giving up, just keep going, because usually you're right there. It's like, it's what's happened.
11th hour.
And 11 years
There
to
you
get
go.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
11 years of
For
living that
11
hard,
years for an overnight success.
Spartan lifestyle.
Yeah, because I've even been saying,
Still a virgin.
Showering with Rich.
because I was even saying that I probably was going to give it to the end of this year. If I didn't get signed to anything major, like, I might look at different pathways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So here we are now.
Here we are now.
So now you're a real estate agent.
So,
Who do you work for? Let's give them a shout out.
I'm Century 21. Yeah.
Century 21. And do you have a certain location?
Yeah.
that
I'm
you-
office city office.
Oh, you're the city boy.
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder why it was easy to come into studio today. You come straight from work?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
special visit.
Do you do rentals or do you do sales?
Sales.
Or sales. So if you've got
Does
a
it
house
all.
you want to sell, do not go and see Stockbridge.
Don't do that.
Come and see Shane at Century 21.
If you want a champion to do it, here you go.
All right. So is there any chance that Real Estate Group could sponsor you even though you're working for Century 21? Or is it just
I think
like,
that's
no?
gonna
No, what we do is I make a big sponsorship offer in Century 21 and go, now we've got to match that.
Yeah, that's what you do. Very good, very good. So
One
you
of those big
became a
fake
real
checks.
estate agent about a year and a half, 2 years ago?
Yeah, be about that. Yeah.
Yeah. What made you change and do that?
One of
You've
my
been a
be-
bouncer for many, many years.
Yeah, one of my best mates, funny enough, who I work with in the security industry, has been in the real estate world for quite some time, and it's like I said, just been one of my best mates. Always around him, I just always talking.
He took you under his wing and
Pretty
just
much,
taught
yeah.
you
Just,
the...
he just said he thought I'd be good, so he just said you'd be great at this job. So in the end, I got to the point where I was like, all right, let's do it.
And one of the great things with real estate, of course, is that you are somewhat more in control of your
Yes,
schedule. And
yeah.
so, you know, if you do have extracurricular activities or a second career path, well, your primary career path in this case, I guess.
Podcasting.
Then you've got that freedom to kind of weave it in and
Yeah,
make
it
it
is
work
great.
with your lifestyle.
Yeah, it is a great lifestyle. Like, not being locked into one place for 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Can't leave that one area. It is good having the freedom of being able to move around here and there. Like, you can quickly duck off, like train for an hour and then go do what you got to do.
Yeah.
A lot of jobs won't allow you to do that.
No, absolutely not.
Well, speaking of being busy, guys, Shane has to go to training soon, so we've got about 12 more minutes. So I'm going to run through some real quick questions. And being the real long talker that you are, Shane, if you could just brief it down for us, all right?
I'll try.
He's not a big talker at all. Okay,
he's been doing
really quick.
great.
Your daily routine, you're super, super busy at the moment. Take us really, really quickly through what a day you normally have.
Right now,
What time do you get up?
Yeah, mornings. I'm not like a extremely early get up person. I probably set my alarm for like 8:30.
What?
Yeah,
Lazy
I
bum.
probably set my alarm for 8:30.
Right.
Get up. So I'm right now where I'm weight cutting. I'm fasting my mornings.
Okay.
So I'm pretty much straight up. Might have a coffee. Straight into my day. Straight into it.
Straight to work.
Straight away. Like a lot of it, I'll go on to my real estate stuff. Usually start with emailing, etc. Talking to people. Duck off to training. I'll duck off training midday. Come back more just work stuff.
Right.
Training and duck back off the
So
training.
2
at
sessions
night.
a day.
Yeah, I'm training twice a day.
When are you having your first meal then?
Usually around the midday, around the 12ish. like that.
After
Like,
you've trained?
yeah, I'll probably have something just before I train. So I'll probably train pretty much right around the 12ish.
Yep.
I might just have some fruit. Like I'm going pretty light at the start with, just like some fruits and some like a protein shake or something like that. But it depends on my what I'm going to do at training. If I know I'm in for a real full-on one, I will definitely incorporate more your carbs,
Okay.
etc.
Yep.
Yeah, and then straight after training, get home. I'll probably have another feed there.
Is Mum cooking for you at the moment?
No, unfortunately.
Oh.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Kim,
I'd
you
do
got
that.
to do the Deliveroo.
Yes, I do. I would love a chef.
So who cooks your meals?
Me.
Okay.
It's just hard to believe, is it?
I'm so surprised.
Are you a good cook?
I mean, I'm alright, man.
I eat my
I'm
own
not I'm no chef, but
Okay.
I eat pretty basic, man. Just like meat, veg, rice,
Okay.
fruit, protein shake. That's pretty much it on repeat.
What do you currently weigh?
Right now, I'm about 87.
Oh, you fatty. So you got about 10 to get down?
Yeah, I got to lose, fighting at 77. So I'll probably do another 5, maybe 5 kilo, and I'll do the rest in water weight.
So life sucks for the next couple of weeks. Okay.
Well,
Yes.
it sucked for the last few weeks. Like I've just come down from 92.
When is the PFL? What's the
April
date for it?
14th, ladies and gentlemen.
There you
4 weeks.
go.
April
4
14th.
weeks.
And where
Okay.
can people get that pay-per-view?
It's Stan Sport, everybody.
it's
It's a
on
real
Stan.
cheap subscription. I get it. It's like, I don't know, about $10 every couple of weeks or something like that. It's only about $5 a week or
Yeah.
whatever. And, you know, for the quality of shows that
Yeah.
they put on,
Million dollar prize.
Yeah, and you get the rest of Stan as well. You get all the movies and TVs, but I only watch Stan Sport, of course, for the PFL. Get onto that and make sure you're watching on the 14th because it'll be live. And there'll be...
Live from Las Vegas?
it is Las Vegas.
Yeah, first
isn't it,
one's
mate?
Las Vegas, and then next one I think date's June. It's either 23rd, 24th, something like that. It's Atlanta.
Yeah, yeah. I think at the moment they're doing shows in Universal Studios in Florida.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know they move all over the place. I believe if you get to the final, that's in New York.
Wow.
It's the
Madison
Madison
Square
Madison
Gardens.
Square Garden.
Wow, what a show!
Yeah, that'd be
That'll
awesome.
that will be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get on the PFL site and you see Shane Mitchell, it says that he hasn't got an opponent, but he does. We're going to name him. It's Nayib Lopez. He's a Mexican. That's Nayiblopez, and he currently has a record of 15-0. What did you think when you first saw that?
Yeah, well, the phone call was just, we got you an opponent, 15-0 Mexican. Ah, great. Yeah, when you just put it straight out like that, I'm like, oh, here we go.
It sounds really
Junior
bad.
Dos Santos.
It's like, is this a setup or
Yeah.
what?
Just straight away, I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. Like, but then I was just like, it is what it is. Like, it's the whole, I knew I wasn't going to get an easy fight.
Yeah.
Did I expect 15-0 Mexican? No, probably didn't expect that. Yeah, but then, yeah, like,
Is it the 15-0 or the Mexican bit?
I think it's the mixture.
All of them.
Like, yeah.
It could be a padded record as well, though. I mean, how many of those 15 were like real high quality level fights, you know?
Yeah, you just don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
You really don't know. After doing a bit of research on him, I feel like I'm in good hands. I feel confident.
Awesome. So there's not much that intimidates you when your name is AAA anywhere, any place, any time.
Anytime.
It should be quadruple A, anyone.
That's right.
And look, after being in the game for 10 years, like exactly what you said, like, I know there's 15-0 record. There's probably a very good chance those 15 opponents haven't been that great. Very hard to go 15-0 if you're versing high level guys.
Right.
Very hard.
Right.
And that's certainly in this sport. Anyone can beat anyone type of thing. I know these guys who say there's like 10 of us on this card. We probably all have the capability of beating one another. If I already know if I was to just keep fighting this bunch of guys for 15 fights in a row, one of them's going to eventually beat me. And it's like,
Yeah.
I could probably beat them, but then I come back next time around and he beats me. So yeah, I know just a 15-0. Yeah, a lot of time doesn't mean shit.
Well, when I saw it, I tried to do a bit of research, Shano. I've got all the tips for you.
Love to hear.
But we won't give anything away. And, of course, you don't want to give anything away either because your opponent will probably watch this and he'll be like, what's this guy all about? But can you tell me a strength and a weakness that you think about your opponent?
Strength of his size, he's 6'3". Like he's fought, like you said, he come down from middleweight. I think he's fought majority of his fights at
Middleweight, that's
possibly.
right.
So he's going to be big. He's going to be big, strong, long. Like I said, 6'3". He's probably going to be longer than me.
And he fought in February at middleweight,
yeah.
so he's got a bit to cut.
Yeah. Yeah, looking at his physique though, like he's definitely not a middleweight physique. He's definitely more of a welterweight physique there. So he didn't, like I said, he's not one of those super middleweights which I've fought.
He didn't have a six-pack in his
No.
middleweight
So, I mean,
fight.
I've fought some hell of a lot bigger boys at middleweight.
Right. And a weakness?
Weakness is his composure. His composure and just, I think he's still a bit, like I said, he's a bit of if frustrated is the right word, but you can see he's quite rushed. He's not nice, neat, as sharp as myself.
Yeah. He's a knockout artist, and I think most of his wins he's gotten by knockout. He's only ever gotten one submission.
Yeah,
which
I
was
believe the knockouts aren't on the feet knockouts. So I believe they're TKOs on the
TKOs,
floor. So
exactly.
sit on top, Just he's got good heart. You can see that he's got good heart. And I think his game plan will be to take me down and just try and
Ground and pound.
Yeah, ground and pound, gas me out.
Yep.
Which I don't see happening.
Do you think that the longer the fight goes, the more chance you've got?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say that is the case. I think he's got a lot of heart, and you look at his fights. He does do well in the later rounds. I think his gas tank's there, so I wouldn't say if going into the later rounds gives me an upper hand. I think it's
okay.
I think if it's a later round fight, it's just a bit of a dog fight between us because I don't think he's just going to give up.
What's your prediction for the fight?
I always see KO. Yeah, I can always see KO, and I think with the styles as well. Like I said, the composure, and he's a bit more rushy. That's usually when I catch people. But then again, it's a hard one because I know he's probably going to try and take me down. So look at like I said, the last guy tried to take me down and ended up subbing him straight away. So
So his style game is ground and pound, basically.
yeah, like looking at him, he seems to always eventually go for the takedown.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
He sets it up well with strikes.
yeah, it's a bit of a barbaric entry to a shot, which I've got no.
If you likened him to a UFC fighter, who would you say he's similar to? Like the Chael Sonnen sort of thing, or?
No, that's too wrestling strong.
Yeah.
I don't think there is one because I'm not going to say why.
Tito Ortiz.
I'm not going to say why because I think that gives a bit too much strategy away.
No, okay. Well, Rich is.
We're right behind AAA, mate. We didn't know what to say anything because I think Shane will do very, very well. And when you beat somebody who's 15-0, you turn the tables and you shock the world.
Yeah,
be ready, everybody.
It's good to take out someone who's 15-0. That's good. Good on the resume.
So if you get a first round knockout with the point system, that would almost guarantee.
Almost, yeah, unless you got a lot of finishes happening on the card. Yes, I mean, you just don't know.
He'll probably be seen as the underdog. Would you think that's a fair comment?
Yeah, well, you're up against 15-0 guy. Yep. Yeah, I feel like if you look at paper, I'm the underdog. Yeah.
And does that take some of the pressure off? Because, I mean,
Definitely.
if you step into a cage regionally right now, everybody's expecting you to win. Yeah. So how does it now feel after all these years, now being the underdog?
I've been saying this lately. It's actually so much better. It's less pressure. A lot of people think or start asking me, like, oh, are you nervous? You nervous? Not as much as the regional because, like you said, on the regional, I know my shot at the major is on the line.
Yes.
Now you're actually in a major.
So you kind of got two fights going on there, haven't you? You got the fight you've got to win because then there's that fight that might...
And then I'm also going through the uncertainty of, like, is this fight even going to get me anywhere? Like, I was going through that whole, like, how many times do I got to win to actually get a major contract? And I know when I was fighting on the regional that a loss is very, very damaging.
Yes.
I know if I lose, then pretty much my chance of getting on a major is like,
gone.
Yeah, it's
but there wasn't
very
so
slim.
much work to do.
It's very slim. There's still somewhat of a chance, but it's very, very slim. But then with a win's good, looks great, but
you need 5 more.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how many more do I need? Like,
There's no equivalency.
I've been winning. So going into this now, where you can sort of just let go.
Yeah.
So let go. I'm not fighting for a contract. I'm not I'm not trying to get it. I've already got the contract. I've already got what I've actually on the regional. What I was fighting for was a major contract. I've got it now. So
this question might answer that question that you asked about, the UFC fighter, but on a local scale, which would be more safe. So who would be your main training partner who would be able to simulate this particular fighter? Would it be Lyle Karam?
No, he's a southpaw, but yeah. So Lyle is definitely handy in the way of his like good striking, and his
good entries.
His wrestling ability. But he is a southpaw, so that does make.
Can he go right-handed just to simulate it all? Or?
Yeah, he can, but it's just not the same. Like,
so who else would there be?
Are you volunteering, Rich?
No.
It's just taller Orthodox guys who, like, you know what, Lyle probably is the most, like, the game styles that we have here. He is the most realistic. That's just with the southpaw. Yeah. But I don't think he has anywhere near the wrestling capability of Lyle. Yeah, Lyle's actually his wrestling capabilities very
unbelievable. And he could be also, in the conversation, I'm sure, after you've made a pathway to the PFL, to be in that conversation.
Yeah, I think if he keeps going, he'll be in a major. Like, he definitely will. Like, he's one of those guys as well where, like, I can't see many people on the regional beating him.
Getting to the end of the questions, mate. But if you do get on top, are you going to go Dagestani?
What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, are you going to grab the single wrist control and you know, use a bit of Dagestani dirty tactics, mate? Do you see that that's entered your game? I think it has.
Yeah.
Look at him smiling. He's like, oh, don't say anything.
It definitely is. It's never my go-to. Like it's that whole grinding wrestling. It's not a massive go-to, but I already know it. Yeah, 100% is a weapon of mine now. I can go there.
Yeah,
I definitely can go there. Like, do I just intentionally go there? No, not really. But to be honest, I don't really intentionally go anywhere in the fight. It just happens. Yeah, I don't even plan things. I just fight.
Yeah.
Who are you taking to the US with you?
We've got a bit of a crew behind us. So we've got, obviously, Ike's coming along. We've got Brad Wally's coming along. Hoping Lyle will come along with me. Then just a couple mates. Got a few mates coming along. And then my parents are most likely coming down for
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, they're coming down.
It's a big corner.
Yeah, we had a few of us going, which would be good. Yeah.
And do you come back at the end of the fight, or are you staying in?
Nah, I come back. So, because it's still, the next fight's 9 weeks apart. I would love to be able to just stay there, but
9 weeks in Vegas.
So
He's going to come back.
Makes the next weight cut really difficult too.
but like I said, we've got responsibilities back home. So,
Okay.
Yeah, and so I mean that's a lot of flying back and forth. And so if there's a C-suite executive watching, because I know that's a core demographic of ours.
Definitely.
If somebody wants to know how to support you
Yes.
and to get you there and to financially get behind you, how can they do that?
Yeah, pretty much. So we're always taking on sponsors for sure. Getting a big sponsor like that would be amazing. So the PFL will look after me for about 5 nights.
Yeah.
They'll look after me for 5 nights and my flight. So that's all covered. I don't really need cover for that. I mean, if someone's got a private jet, they want to sponsor me.
Are you watching?
Andrew Tate.
Doesn't need it.
But,
When will you be flying over?
about a week before. So
Okay.
yeah, pretty much exactly a week before. So about the 7th. Yeah. Good thing is though, flying there. Say if we leave on the 7th, you fly there, it's still the 7th.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
You
back
gain
in-
half a day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
back in time.
right.
Mm.
And then you've got to adjust the whole sleeping patterns.
It
And,
is weird, isn't it? Yeah. And sponsors you'd like to thank at all for?
Yeah, so I got Hydrolife. So they've just
Hydrolife.
Spelled HYDRALYFE, not life. LIFE.
Yeah, so I gotta go-
LYFE.
big shout out to them because they're my major sponsor. So they've just jumped on board. That's
Awesome.
they're great for your sports recovery. So.
But they
Fantastic.
do like IV drips and just
Yeah.
for your general well-being.
Yeah, but like they'll do a lot of your.
Sleeves.
Yeah, they'll do a lot of that. I can't jump into any of that stuff though. But like they'll go into your
just
your
in case the
overall-
starter's watching.
yeah, but they just go into like overall like recovery, sports recovery. Like
Yeah.
they'll cover the whole lot. Like it's great. Yeah.
So if you just want to optimize your performance, and doesn't matter what level you're at, Hydrolife for your people to go and see.
Yeah, and just overall wellness as well. Like just making you feel better.
yeah.
Are they a supplement company, or what do they do? Sorry.
Yeah, like he was saying. So you got like
IVs and they've got pressure bands,
Yeah.
so alternative therapy. So
Yeah.
I know
Recovery
of cancer patients that are on high dosage vitamin C, they'll go on the drip, and you can't take in that much vitamin C orally, so they'll go on the IV. But it's not just for people that are ill, of course. There's a lot of sports people that are recovering, or these days a lot of people just doing it for their overall well-being.
Wellness,
They're just trying to feel a bit better, and at our age where you get some of the niggles and the aches and pains after a workout,
Well, I saw that. So I think a lot of people, you think now, like I'm even the same. Like body hurts, man. Body hurt, but you think it's just life is how it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't sort of have to be.
Give it 10 years, Shane.
Yeah.
Come on, mate. You're young, eh? Come on. 32 years old. He's at his peak right now. Ladies, he's at his peak. He's a virgin and he's ready to go. Round him up.
I'm sure your opponents feel worse than what you do at the moment. Bloody Shane.
Who else have you got, Shane? Who else have you got?
Well, no, they're major sponsors right now. That's all I've
Okay.
got set right now.
So we're looking for a few more.
Got a few in the works coming up.
Big announcements coming.
Yeah, so we've got some announcements to be putting online very soon.
Okay.
Yep.
But if
And-
anybody else is out there and wants to jump on board,
Yes.
all they have to do is reach out to Shane. You can do that via the socials, or to Craig, perhaps at CardioFlex.
Yeah, he's been a big help with that. Even going directly to Craig or myself.
Yeah.
You're on Instagram, Facebook, all that.
Yeah, I'm on all
Is it
that.
just at Shane Mitchell or?
Yeah.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Shane, not Shane Mitchell MMA, just Shane Mitchell.
Shane Mitchell.
So it's basically photos of you.
Because you beat everyone else up that wanted them. I'm having it. Get out.
It's photos of Shane with straps over his shoulder and pictures of his dog on his passenger seat.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty much the balance of the content.
Wow.
Yeah.
Got a stalker here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've been looking.
Does the dog ever wear the belt? Or?
No. So if people want to follow you, that's the way. Shane Mitchell on Instagram. Get on board. Follow this young man. Make sure that you're getting right behind him. If you're out there and you happen to have a little bit of spare cash and you want to get behind this young man, certainly reach out to him or to Craig Ike at Cardio Flex, because this man is the future of MMA here in Australia. And it's been a long time coming, but it's so good to see that you're finally there, mate.
Yeah.
Wishing you all the very best when you hit Las Vegas at the PFL. What was the date again? The 14th?
April the 14th.
April the 14th. So April the 14th, you can find that on Stan
Sport.
So get your subscription now. $5 a week will get you all the PFL fights, and you can follow this young man's career as he works his way through the PFL on the journey to $1 million, ladies and gentlemen. So put your hands together for AAA Shane Mitchell.
Thanks for coming in, Shane.
Thanks, guys.
What are you going to do with all the money?
I don't know, might buy a Lambo. No. I'll definitely be smart. I'll definitely be smart and I'll invest. I'll
real
get some
estate.
help. Yeah, I'll definitely get some. See,